But this one, he know this kind of creation of this alpha male who is to be pedestalized and who will never face the consequences of what he does is something that is needs to worry us.
Hello and welcome to the Indian Express. Today I'm with Shubhra Gupta, our resident critic, and we will talk about the animal in the room, Ranbir Kapoor's Animal, a film that is breaking box office records. It's has already collected more than 100 crores in the first days of its run. It is being petted as Ranbir Kapoor's big comeback. The Ranbir Kapoor era has started, according to a lot of headlines. Shubhra, you gave it a very bad review. As in, you are generally very finicky, but you rarely call a film a vile, vile, pointless film. That's what you called it, right?
So basically, what happens is when you begin when any conversation about a film begins with the kind of box office that it has done, it immediately tells people who are maybe on the fence or maybe wondering whether they should go see this film or not. They say, oh, if everyone's watching it and if it's making so much money, then it's like FOMO, it's the fear of missing out. So we absolutely have to go see this film. So therefore, I think there is some kind of a domino effect that happens from this breathless conversation or the kind of things that start happening on social media much before the film comes out, because of the fact that Sandeep Reddy Vanga has made Arjun Reddy, then he made Kabir Singh, and now he's come to this. So everybody knows the kind of movie that he's making. So it's not like I was surprised by the fact that Ranbir Kapoor is playing this kind of man-child. Ranbir Kapoor specializes in in playing man children. If you remember Wake Up Sid and a couple of other films he did very early on, he sort of really fits the bill, because he can do this unformed male person who doesn't really have too much experience with life, and therefore he can be molded. Here, the director is actually giving him to us fully formed in a way that it comes from the excuse is that he was not given enough time or attention by his father. So the male bonding between the father and the son becomes the toxic relationship on which this movie rests. And if the director had actually explored this to any to a little bit more to the advantage of the film, a little more deeper, there would have, if there had been more depth between the father character played by Anil Kapoor and by Ranbir Kapoor, this film may have actually opened up conversations between toxic father and son relationships. But the film is actually not interested in any deep exploration. The lost man somewhere who's basically never been given any kind of direction or directionality when he's growing up. You can actually empathize in some bits of, this lost person. Who is this person? There is a point in the film, there are many points in the film that you can say, okay, looks like this guy has got no learning at all, ever.
Which you
It's
mentioned
the
in your
mother.
review. You mentioned that
Yes.
even though he has a very functional, nurturing relationship with his mother, he's only shaped by the lack of that with his father, right? That's what you mentioned in
Yes.
the review too.
Yes, I do, because the mother is not an absent figure. The mother is always there, and she's taking a back step to the kind of the kind of abuse, you can call it, by the father, who is actually this absent figure in his life. But we know that he's a very busy professional. It's not like Anil Kapoor's character has some deep angst that he is sort of taking it out on his son. None of that. He's just busy making his money. He's busy making his millions. Therefore, he's not there. And therefore, the slapping that happens from somewhere, the slapping that this child is experiences, and then it turns him into this animal. I mean, there are people I know, and there are people you know, and the people we know who've had terrible, their childhoods have been way worse than what this is. And are you telling me that everybody who's had this terrible childhood turns into an animal?
Clearly, there is glorification, as you point out, glorification in the 80s kind of way, where bad behavior, as in, like rowdy behavior of the leading man, and his attitude, careless attitude towards women was celebrated, was catcalled. I mean, would you agree that, like, in a way, a lot of it is that, and also, of course, coupled with a very deliberate, um, middle finger to critics, from what I can gather, because that seems to be, like a sort of a, because in a recent interview I read, the director mentioned that, um, like how he only critics were upset with, yeah,
Oh
Kabir
my
Singh, and no one else was, and that, and
God.
like this seems to be an answer to people who were
Uh,
critical of.
Okay, I am not that critic that thinks that any filmmaker will go out and make a movie this big with so much money and so many people just to, stick his middle finger at I don't think. I think he made the film that he set out to make, and I think he got all of these wonderful. I mean, most of these Anil Kapoor, Ranbir Kapoor, these are actors who can actually convince us. And Bobby Deol has been on such a role in the last few years. It's almost like a comeback for him more than Ranbir Kapoor. Ranbir Kapoor's always been in our, on our radar, even though he hasn't made the movies that have, particularly his last few films have been middling. But this one, he know this kind of creation of this alpha male who is to be pedestalized and who will never face the consequences of what he does is something that is needs to worry us, because in the mainstream Hindi movie universe, bad guys were always shown the error of their ways. Okay, if you were a villain, or if you were a bad guy, or if you were a good guy with gray, with gray shades who did bad things, then bad things happen to you. Here, we don't see any of that. We see the framework of a mainstream Bollywood Hindi film, which is actually borrowed the kind of communication, this direct in your face communication is very much a part of the Telugu cinema that we have seen, the Arjun Reddy kind of thing, where you actually see this happening, which is picked up from the kind of society that an Arjun Reddy may have actually been living in. You can see that as an Andhra film, but to have that film then made it into a Mumbai film with Kabir Singh was something. Now this one is an absolutely calculated move towards, sort of 10x 20x times that kind of masculine toxicity in this character, who not only does he pick up a gun and shoot it in a classroom, he gets no pushback from anywhere.
Yeah.
Only thing they say is, oh, how can you do that? There is no police in this
There's
film.
no
There
police.
is
There's
no
like very
law.
lack of police. There's no authority, right?
There's
Like
no
that's
law.
the
There's no authority.
lawlessness.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
a
The
very big
authority.
part of 80s films, where the hero would sometimes be an anti-hero, but still, as you said, he would get be subject to repercussions. But here it seems there's no police whatsoever. It's like it's just
Nothing. There's no law. This universe that he's created, nothing. He and his cohorts walk into a space and they massacre like almost 30-40 people, and this is just the pre-interval. I mean, just before that, he comes back without a single. No, there is literally. It's almost like it didn't happen. Nobody refers to it, and he just sort of very casually tells his sister, whose husband, this is a spoiler, but I really don't care at this point, whose sister he has killed. He said, oh, wo to maine usko maar diya. Really? At his bidding. That would be completely out of conscience. You cannot expect the woman in your life, your wife, your girlfriend, to do those things with any. You have no respect. Do you have any respect for that woman whom you're asking to what's the word? I mean, how can I even say it without it sounding crass? Basically, take your clothes off. How? How? In front of a third person. How does that even compute? I am speechless. Then there is no dramatic tension to the film. Then it becomes completely, why it's not even worth my time. The character becomes completely uninteresting. He's just constantly, it's more and more shock value. Next thing, what am I going to do? Shock the audience. Okay, now having shocked the audience once, you're going to have to keep ratcheting up that shock value. What is it doing to your story? It has nothing to do with with the primacy of your plot. What is there even a plot? Or is there just this whole thing about let us venerate this character whom we have created, who will appeal to a kind of an adolescence who's never really been allowed to grow up, and the kind of majoritarian view in right now, which is in play in our country right now, where women are, their place is in the kitchen or in the bedroom, and they can say what they can say. They might, in this movie, she's even allowed to slap him a couple of times, oh wow, okay, she's doing this, but man, what is happens after that is something that I'm not even going to go down that path. But I won't even say watch it for yourself, because literally nothing happens. It's just those two things. It's like a slap on people's face who've been saying that, oh, this director gets his females to be slapped, so let's get the female to slap the guy. And is that even an answer? I mean, really? It's just
Yeah, I mean, it's like ridiculous, the whole, like the level of, yeah.
I don't, there is a pre-interval, there is a like a prolonged massacre, very Kill Bill type, where that it's comic book and you're not supposed to take it seriously. That kind of thing can be fun. And there it is fun in a sort of a warped kind of way. But if you tell me that this is a real guy and he's doing this real stuff, and we are expected to actually understand his motivation when there is nothing, then what are you trying to tell me? I mean, it doesn't sort of, except for the fact that this is the kind of masculine guy, the alpha guy. There are no betas in this film. Okay, where are all the betas? We don't see them. The only alpha men, and also like I said, the men who surround him are also getting to be that, wanting to be that alpha man.
Yeah.
So Bobby Deol's character is also this extremely, he has sort of worked on himself, and he now knows how to.
And he does not have a dialogue in the film, right? Like, a
He
lot of people
doesn't.
say very fact that he doesn't get to speak, and yet he conveys so much. Yeah.
Right. So he's supposed to be not being able to speak. He can't speak. He doesn't have this thing. But what he does, what the director has done, is actually pick up bits and pieces of the character, the popular characters that he's played on OTT in the last 2-3 years. He's done, the kind of the Prakash Jha film, the series that he made on, it's called, what is it called? Yes, Ashram, where he plays this raunchy Baba. He's actually a guy who sort of gets after young women and pretends to be this holy guy, but actually is not. Actually, is this guy who uh, is a wolf in a sheep's clothing. And you can actually see Bobby Deol thoroughly enjoying himself. The first season was interesting because we saw him do it for the first time, but now it's become like it's almost like a trope. So what we see Bobby Deol, who comes almost towards, like, it's almost towards the last hour of the film. It's a long film. It's 3 hour.
Yeah.
I don't know, 3.5 hours or something like that. 3 hours, 20 minutes actually, but it seems longer. So this guy turns up at that point and he plays such a stereotypical Muslim character with three wives. His virility is to be shown only because those women have to be closeted with him. And then the moment the door closes, we are supposed to be imagining what's going on inside of that. And that's it. And then, of course, these two men, Ranbir Kapoor's character and Bobby Deol's character, get into a mano, because how can you show a Hindi film without actually bare-bodied characters going at each other? You tell me.
And yeah, but I've been following a lot of YouTube reviews of the film, and a lot of people are saying, a lot of people who we see as a common viewer of a film like this are saying कि अरे critics के क्या है, वो लोग तो बोलते रहेंगे, like this is a film, like and stop listening to the feminists and the critics who are just
Yes, yes.
bakhara out of this thing. It's a film after all. Let's enjoy the spectacle of the film. So, I mean, of course, that I'm sure there must be some reasoning behind it, and a lot of people might subscribe to the vision. But what do you have to say about something like this? Do you think the
Oh,
woke,
yeah.
the woke critics are being too harsh? Is that what you feel? Like
I feel okay. So here's the thing. I've had like trolls have been out since Friday, and I've had lots of very amusing trolling happening, very vicious, very amusing trolling, and the consistent aspect of that is being called a feminazi. Okay, so not just a feminist, but a feminazi. Okay, we are people who are not just women who are looking at this spectacle and who don't know how to respond to it. Not only are we that, we're also people who have no idea of the kind of fun that this kind of movie can actually promise to its viewers, and the viewers having getting something out of it. And constant, it's been 4 days of that. It's already Monday, and it's relentless, it's going on. My point, very limited point, is this, that it doesn't bother me because it's truly not that at all. It's not like I haven't seen characters who are misogynistic or who are deeply problematic before. It's so many. I mean, years and years of watching movies have only given us a thirst for complex characters, give us complexity, but also give us some kind of a context within which you can place it. Give me something that makes me understand why he does a few things, and also then give him an arc, give the character an arc, which then I can take him seriously. And what are you trying to tell me when you ask a woman, prove that you love me by licking my boots? Hello? What is that even? I mean, woke? I don't know whether you need to be woke to be horrified by that. And if people tell me, Arey, but people like this exist, sure they do. Of course they do. My worry is that the kind of critical faculties that we as audience have to see this character for what he is and not get completely swayed, and not get completely like, if the director is sort of is putting him, pedestalizing him, and putting and showing him as this ideal character, right? Then are we telling people that this is the what we need to be aspiring to?
Yeah, like, and we are almost at the last leg of the conversation, and I feel and I suspect there'll be a sequel to it. Is there a promise of a sequel?
Yeah, there is no, it is definitely, there is going to be a sequel. We've been promised a sequel. And I get the feeling that there are people already going to be lining up to watch that sequel. So, yeah, absolutely. Sequel is there. It's called, it's not a spoiler if it's called Animal Park this time. It's not just animal. Many, maybe not just one. We get several animals to see this time.
And you will again, we'll probably be in a few years' time sitting here having this ranty discussion on it. Uh,
I hope here is what I want to just leave us with, that I hope it will not just be this binary. There can be discussions about films without everybody getting very, very defensive. The filmmakers getting defensive, the people who are critiquing it. I always say that there is a difference between criticizing something and critiquing it. So here we are looking at your film as something which is important because it's going out so big, it's gone wide, there has been anticipation for it, and it will continue to, sort of go out wide. I think it will, keep going. This kind of film does seem to have an internal combustion engine, which will keep it going. But if it goes into a space where conversations about toxicity, about male behavior, about male entitlement comes through, then we're looking at something. But if your director or whoever the filmmakers are, or the people who are responsible for the film, shut all discussion down and say, oh, these people don't know anything, then we are back in the red corner and blue corner and nothing happens. That, I think, would be a sad thing. Yeah.
On that note, let us end this conversation. It was really nice, and I rarely have I seen you this ranty against the film, and not ranty. You actually make a lot of sense. You are yeah, you seem to be really deeply disturbed by it, actually, which says a lot about the effect that it has had on you. And I would urge our viewers, if they want to watch the film, please go ahead and watch it. We will not tell you not to watch it,
No,
but
no, watch. Every movie needs to be watched, but every film also needs to be discussed and discussed threadbare without everybody getting all like antsy about it. So I think let's talk.
yeah,
That's one way of,
absolutely. Watch
talking about
watch
movies.
Animal, and then please do have discussions around it. On
Yes.
that note, thank you
Let
for
us know what you think, and then we'll take it forward from there.
exactly. And
Yeah.
yeah, please on the comment section, let us know what you
Yes,
think
please.
about the film. Thank you. Thank you, Shubhra. Thank you for
Okay,
joining us. Thank
bye.
you, viewers. Thank you for joining us.